Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will be talking to one of the most important African writers, Albert Chinua Achebe. We will be talking about his life.
Good afternoon.
It's a pleasure to have you here, so let's start from the beginning of your life.
Okay, well, I was born in a large village called Ohidi in Amabra, Nigeria in 1930, and I was raised by Christian evangelist parents.
The Igbo tradition is well known. How did it influence you and your life?
Mother and sister, Sinovia, Usoma, told me many stories as a child. This made me really interested on my culture and was a beginning for what is now my career.
Interesting. Now tell us about your education.
Very well. During my early life, I studied in an Anglican missionary school. Later, I assisted to a government college in Umuahia, and then to the University of Ibadan.
Any special and personal experiences that you would like to share about your life as a student?
People in my village consider me as a type of hero and called me dictionary for my knowledge of English.
Funny. Is there any complaints you have towards the education system in Nigeria?
Many, but the main one was that we had to put away our mother tongues and communicate in the language of the colonists. This really annoyed me.
Interesting. Anything else?
Yes, as students, we weren't allowed to read books after class, and the principal called this the Textbook Act.
At college, she read several books like David Copperfield and Heart of Darkness. What do you think about these books? I mean, they're very racist.
Racist and only one-sided because it shows the white people as the superior kind and only the good ones, while the people with dark skin or black were considered as animals and stupid.
How did these books influence your novels?
It caused me to write my stories and to explain or show to people that in Africa there is not only darkness and that there are people with emotion and thoughts just like others.
I heard you studied medicine and literature, and after what did you do?
Yes, I studied medicine and literature in the University of Ibadan, and after graduating, I went to work for the Nigerian Broadcasting Company in Lagos.
There you wrote your first novel, Things Fall Apart, in 1958, and you have sold 8 million copies worldwide. This is certainly your greatest work.
Yes, that's right. That was my first movement in the 1950s, and it was very successful. I was part of a new Nigerian literature movement that drew on oral traditions of Nigeria's indigenous tribes.
Please, briefly, tell us what this book is about.
This book talks about a man called Okonkwo who has personal issues. He's one of the leaders of the village, Umuahia, but loses power when he accidentally kills a person. Therefore, he's exiled. When he comes back, he sees that the village is now controlled by some white men that are missionaries and introduce their own religion. People joined them, including his son, Nwoye. These books showed the fall and slow disappearance of the Igbo culture when the British came.
Is there any personal connections you have with Okonkwo?
Yes, Okonkwo was my grandfather.
Wow, that is really interesting. Now, was there any other external factors going in Nigeria when you released your book?
Yes, this was during the Nigerian independence over Britain and really influenced me during my process of creating this book. There was a new life of freedom for the Nigerian people and a fresh start coming. And I wanted my people to know about their past before they thought about their future.
Were any barriers preventing the publication of your books?
Several publishing houses rejected it immediately, claiming that my African fiction writings had no market potential. Although Gilbert Phelps in London recommended my books to other houses which helped the release for my works.
Any other books you recommend for the public?
Of course, there is Christmas in Biafra, Morning Yet on Creation Day, The Trouble with Nigeria, Girls at War, Hopes and Impediments, and many others.
in English instead of Igbo?
I do incorporate some Igbo vocabulary in my novels, but I write in English because I want people around the world to learn about my culture and not just about the stereotypes, and so it can be read in an international level.
Is there any big idea you wanted to show the whole world?
I explained the psychological and social impact of West colonizations on traditional African societies.
Did you receive any comments criticizing your work?
Of course, people have praised the simplicity of my language, my use of proverbs and folklore, my irony, my objectivity in presenting complex issues.
So then, after you graduated, you worked for the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation as a radio producer and director of external broadcasting. What was the reason you ended your career in 1966?
My career ended abruptly because of the Biafran War, also known as the Nigerian Civil War. Then I was appointed as a senior research fellow of the University of Nigeria in Nsukka and began lecturing widely abroad.
Stay tuned. We will be right back after a commercial break.
Mom,
Yes, honey?
Dad told me that Cheerios is good for your heart. Is that true?
Says here that Cheerios has whole grain oats that can help remove some cholesterol, and that's heart healthy.
He could be the one. Soulmate. Husband. Loving father to your children. But first, you've got to get him to say hello. New Crest 3D White Arctic Fresh toothpaste. Use it with these 3D White products and whiten your teeth in just 2 days. What will a 3D White smile do for you? New Crest 3D White toothpaste. Life opens up when you do.
Hi. Aw, thank you. Have a seat. Kyle, Jalen, Kyle.
Jalen, you play nice.
I'll be right back.
What's going on, little man? I see you got your game skills down, Pack. You might have your hands full once I'll pick up the controller, man.
Put it back. Keep your hands on my mama. Keep your hands on my Doritos.
Jalen, are you playing nice?
And we're back with chinua achebe. Did your parents make you become a writer?
Of course not. It was my own decision, and I decided to become a writer because it is my passion.
What special recognitions did you receive for your work as an author?
Received the honorary fellowship of American Academy and the Institute of Arts and Letters, as well as more than 20 honorary doctorates from universities around the world. Also, I won the Nigerian National Merit Award, which is Nigeria's highest award for intellectual achievement, and the Man Booker, which is the International Prize of Fiction.
We know you're retired now, but what did you do in the past few years?
I was a professor at the University of Massachusetts, and afterwards I teach in Connecticut.
Regarding your personal life, what can you tell us about your family?
I live with my beautiful wife, Anandale, and my 5 wonderful children in New York.
That's nice. Well, thanks Achebe for being in this interview. It was really interesting to have listened about your life.
No, thank you for inviting me.
This was chinua achebe. Goodbye everyone.
Yeah.